Hi there, Nancy Muller here. How do you like the purple shades? Today we're going to talk about living your life your way. So this is my way today with the shades. This is part 1 of a 4-part live Facebook video. And here's the best part. I'm not selling anything. I'm not trying to get you to buy anything. I'm not trying to talk you into anything. I just want to share something with you. And I thought today, Black Friday, would be a good day to do this part 1 of 4 about how you can live your life your way. So I want to share something with you, but keep in mind that, even though this is a gift, my gift from me to you today, because that's just how I'm feeling today. Really excited and happy, and I love my life. You guys know that. I love to party like purple, and today I am partying like purple by sharing this gift with everyone. If you think it's worth sharing, share this. But here it is. So this is a part 1 of 4 videos that I'm going to be giving you to tell you, teach you, show you how you can live your life your way. Now, first step, and this is so crucial, so important. Okay, so I want you to pay attention. And I use this exercise in every single one of my, with my clients, when I work with my clients. So this isn't just something I made up. This is something that I was introduced to back in the 80s. And I have been using it over and over and over. And in fact, it's helped me, like each level I go up in my life, it's helped me to level up. So you see, to me, this is really powerful. To me, this is a huge gift. To me, this is a gift worth having and a gift worth sharing. But, if you decide to re-gift it, that's up to you. Because remember, life is all about partying like purple. So whatever it's going to take for you to party like purple. Okay, you ready? Here you go. Here's what you want to do. Take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, and on the left side, you write, I want, and on the right side, I don't want. Okay? Now, why is this so important? Because there are so many people walking around in this life grumbling about what they don't have. Oh, if I only had this, I'd be happy. Oh, if only my husband would X, we'd have such a better relationship. Oh, if only. Oh my gosh. When we look for things that we're not happy about, when we look for things that we believe are wrong, we're going to find them. So this is going to help you kind of reverse your thinking and start thinking about what it is that you really, really want. Now, here's what's interesting. Most people don't know what they want. They know what they don't want. And so that's what they concentrate on day in and day out, hour after hour, when they're having conversations. Isn't it maddening to have a conversation with someone and all they do is complain about all the stuff they think is wrong? So that's why this exercise is so important, so valuable, and I want to share it with you. Everything is flashing at you. People are trying to get your attention. But again, that flashing, remember, it's like a flash in the pan. Something that you're going to buy today because you think it's going to make you happy forever. Well, it's not. Because if there's something missing, if there's something that you want to change in your life, it's got to come from inside here. You've got to know, what is it that makes you happy? So start with this list, what you want and what you don't want. On the I want side, and here's just an example. Let's say you're dating and you want to date a non-smoker. So on the I don't want side, you put I don't want a smoker. I don't want to date a smoker. And on the I want side, you write I want to date a non-smoker. Now, if you can do 25 to 30, maybe 50 of these I want, I don't want, because remember, everything you put I don't want on, you have to figure out a way to put what you do want. So let's say you want to lose 30 pounds. And then you might say, I don't want to be unhealthy anymore. So what you could say is, I want to lose 30 pounds and feel better about myself. You see how this works? This is a very valuable tool. How valuable, you ask me? Let me tell you again. I have used this exercise since the 80s with myself, with my clients. Again, it's all about, are you ready to take that next step? Are you ready to level up in your life? This is part 1 of a 4-part video that I'm going to be doing live on Facebook. Today is day 1, and it's really simple. All you have to do is give yourself permission to take the time to create this list. And then I'm going to tell you in the next video what you want to do with this list. This is my gift to you, remember? Something that's been so valuable to me and to my clients is worth sharing. And this is something that I give to just about anyone I can think of when I'm having just a casual conversation. Someone new I meet, I say, oh, you might want to try this exercise. It's really powerful. So if there's something in your life that you no longer want to experience, there's something in your life that you want to change, there's something in your life that you'd like to see manifested in a huge, huge way, let's start with this list. I want, I don't want. Because you deserve to live your life your way. So this is video 1 of 4. I'll see you on video 2. Ciao for now. Hi there. Welcome to video 2 of 4. If you saw me yesterday, you saw that I'm giving you a 4-part video. And I want to help you live your life your way. Because remember, what am I always saying? Life is all about choices. Yes? Okay, so today's 2. If you remember yesterday, I suggested that you take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. And on one side, you write, I want. And on the other side, I don't want. So if you missed that, you want to go back and find the video and I'll explain a little bit more about that. But today I want to move into why this list is so important. But before I share the next part about the list and why it's so important, I wanted to kind of give you an analogy about something. Okay, so many of you know that the coaching and the work that I do today pretty much organically transitioned from my days as a student, competitor, and teacher in the martial arts. I love karate. I really do. I love what it's done for me. I love what it taught me, and I love what it continues to teach me. And the spiritual aspect, the mental aspect of the martial arts is just so instrumental in my self-growth. And so I have a little analogy for you today. You may or may not know that when you are studying karate, you have belt levels, white belt, yellow belt, orange belt, so and so on and so on. And each level of belt, we have techniques that we are to learn. And then when we've learned them all and our, instructor, our sensei feels that we are ready to test for that particular belt, then we test for the belt. Okay, so as I was going up, there was a technique coming up in one of the belt levels where someone would come up behind me and shove me to the ground from behind, and I would have to fall and roll and come back up into a fighting stance and do the rest of the technique. Okay, so I had it all down except the falling, the being pushed and the falling and the rolling part. I'm not that tall, but every time I would look down at the ground, I'm like, no, I'm going to hurt myself. I'm going to break something. No, it's too far away. The ground is hard. I mean, I had all of these, beliefs in my head about why it wouldn't work. I didn't trust that if I did it the way I was being taught, that I would be unharmed. So that one was really, really difficult for me. But, it was coming close to test time and I still hadn't mastered that whole falling and rolling thing and being shoved to the ground. And finally, one day, 2 of the guys in the studio said to me, Nancy, do you want to learn this? And I'm like, well, yeah, I do. Are you sure? Yeah. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to learn this technique? And I said, of course. So they took me to the park. And for hours, they took turns shoving me to the ground. Now, let me tell you, they would shove me to the ground and I would go to the ground and I would be like, oh, okay. And they're like, no, you need to do this. You need to fall. You need to tuck. You need to roll. So they kept walking me through it and I would stand up and they'd shove me down again. And it just hours and hours they worked with me. And by the time the end of the day, however many hours we were there, I don't remember now. Finally, I got it. They came up behind me. They shoved me. I fell, I tucked, I rolled, I came back up. And I was so excited that I had finally mastered this technique. I finally mastered my fear of falling and being shoved to the ground. And of course, then I went on to test for that belt and, just kept going from there. But the thing is, my point that I'm trying to make to you is that it doesn't matter how many people in the studio knew how to do that technique. I had to learn it myself. And if I really wanted to master it, I had to let go of my fear. I had to allow people to help me. I had to allow for the fact or the belief or the possibility that there might be a way to do this without me going through bodily harm. And it was really, really challenging for me, but I did it. And that's the cool thing, right? Of course, I needed their help. And I appreciate to this day that they were willing to take me to the park and shove me to the ground. I really do. But if you really, really want to live your life your way, you've got to start letting go of some of those beliefs that are holding you back. Because just like I was afraid that I would fall and hurt myself and found out that there is a way to fall without hurting yourself, there's also a way for you to live your life your way and just change what's not working for you. You can do this. I promise you, you can do this. So picking up from yesterday's video number 1, where I talked to you about the want, don't want list, the reason that this is so important is because there are a lot of people walking around really having no clue about what they want in life, but they sure can grumble about what they don't have, what they think they don't want, what's happening to them, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so the whole point about this want, don't want list is to really give yourself the opportunity to say, well, what do I want? And let your mind flow. So what I want you to do today, if you did the exercise from yesterday's video and you really took the time to list 25, 30 things that you want. And remember, for everything that you write down you want, you also have to find a way to put it in a negative so that you've got positive and negative, right? Yin yang, there's a yin yang for everything. So again, if you missed yesterday's video, go hunt it up, go find that, and it'll explain more. So today, I'm assuming that you have that list. You have your 25, 30, 50 things that you want. And then you also have a column of things that you don't want. So now we're going to take that list and we're going to fold it in half so that you can only see the side of I want, what you want in your life. This is what you're telling yourself would make everything better for you, be a game changer in your life. This is what you really want. So if you didn't spend a lot of time on that list and you really didn't put a lot of thought into it, now you can see why this would be really, really a great time for you to go back and take a look at it. Now, here's the thing. When you look at that list and you write down what you want, for every one of you that wrote, I want $1 million or I want a lot of money, think about that. It's not the money that you want. It's what you believe the money will bring to you. So this is about taking a look at your I want list and determining, figuring out, understanding how your subconscious mind is working. What is it telling you day after day, hour after hour, with whether you're awake or asleep? You're subconsciously thinking of all of these things that you want. And so what's happening? You are sending a message to your mind that you want it because you don't have it. And if you're saying, well, duh, Nancy, yeah, that's why I put it on the list of what I want. I want you to start thinking about why you believe you don't have it or why you believe you cannot have it. Because your subconscious mind is working 24/7, and it is the very thing that is attracting what you say you don't want into your life. So understanding how this works is really, really important. So let's take one of the things on your I want side. Yesterday, I used the example of if you're dating and you want to date a non-smoker. So let's just take that and think about, I don't know if you're familiar with mind mapping, but you want to draw a circle on a piece of paper and take one of your I wants and write it in there. So we'll use that example. I want to date a non-smoker. And then do some offshoots from that and write down all of the things that would be so wonderful about that particular want, that particular desire, that particular thing that you want to bring into your life that would make your life, you able to live your life your way. So maybe a non-smoker. And then the things that shoot off of that are, he always smells nice. We have a clean living environment. He's healthy, whatever that is to you. And of course, that is just an example. So take a look at your I want list. Go ahead and draw some circles and put them in the middle and do some offshoots. Think about how it would feel to bring that into your life. And that's the next step. And watch for tomorrow's video 3 of 4, where we're going to talk about the importance of doing that. You don't have to put a lot of thought into this. Just, whatever comes to your head, let it flow, put it down there. Don't say, nah, I better not write that. Look, nobody's going to read this or look at it but you, right? So you get to just let it all hang out. Whatever it is that you really, really want, go for it. Just put it out there. Even if you think, oh my gosh, I could never have that. But you know what? While you're looking at that I want list, pay attention to those little gremlins that are coming into your head and telling you, you can't have that. Who do you think you are? So if you really, really want to find a way to live your life your way, take a look at yesterday's video 1. Pay attention to the information I gave you today in video 2, and look forward to video 3 and 4. I love doing this work. So let's get on to the want, don't want list. If you remember yesterday, I talked to you about folding your list in half and going through what you want and then mind mapping what it is that you say you want in your life. So the question that I'm going to ask you today, if you did the list and then if you did the mind mapping, where did you get stuck? Where did ego hijack your beliefs? A lot of people, they get confused between ego and arrogance. They don't mean the same thing, but many people interchange that word. And ego is that part of your mind that, it's there to keep you safe, right? It's there to have that little conversation in your head, like, are you sure you want to do this? I don't know. We've never tried this before. We've never gone down this road before. Maybe we should just kind of stay here. Maybe we should play it safe. That's ego's job, to keep you safe. It's not good or bad, right or wrong. It just is. So, when we talk about the gremlins in our head or the little voice inside of us that, is keeping us from doing what we want to do, that's really ego talking to you, saying, are you sure that this is what you want to do? Are you sure that you want to be bigger than life? Are you sure that you're really ready to get out there and show the world what you have? Okay, so ego will talk to you and bring up fears. And ego will say, I don't know, like maybe you don't want to go after that, or maybe you don't want to read that new book, or that's not really information that you've ever talked about before, so maybe you shouldn't share it. And, quite honestly, I'm just be honest, when I started doing this work, there were so many times when I would say to myself, oh my gosh, who am I to teach this? Who am I to share this information? And I had doubts. I had a lot of doubts. But from the time that I was a little girl, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I just knew I wanted to be a teacher. But based on the circumstances and my beliefs at the time, I'm like, no, there's no way you're going to be a teacher, Nancy. You don't have this, you don't have that, you can't do this, you can't do that, you come from the wrong side of the tracks. Whatever it is that ego, so freely told me when I was growing up, I did not believe that I had what it took to be a teacher. So if I want to be a teacher had been on my want list, can you imagine the field day that ego would have with me? Like, Nancy, come on. You don't have the education. You don't have the background. You don't have the blah, 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 whatever ego's going to want to say to me. And of course, I would have listened to it. How do I know that? Because I did listen to it. Oh, yeah, I can't do this. Oh, yeah, I can't do that. And you know, when I was in the karate studio one day and I was teaching a class, I was teaching some private lessons, and I remember like it was a bolt of lightning that hit me. I'm standing there and I'm going through a technique with a student, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm teaching this. And then like the very next thought, ego was like, oh, maybe you better stop. Oh, maybe you're doing it wrong. Oh, maybe somebody's watching you and they're going to, you're going to get in trouble afterwards because you didn't do it right. Yeah, ego had a field day with me. But here's the important thing to remember. I was teaching. See, there's a stepping off point for all of us for whatever we want to do in our life, right? So that's why this I want list is so important. And remember, yesterday I talked to you about when you concentrate on and you say, I want it, what you're doing is you're sending a message to the universe that says you don't have it. So after you go through your list and you put all your wants down and you say, okay, this is what will make my life happy. This is where I want to be in my life. And then you do your mind mapping and you pay attention to the feelings and the beliefs that are coming up for why you can or cannot do it. Here are 3 questions that I want you to ask yourself, okay? The first question is, what feeling or belief can I let go of right now? The second question is, what feeling or belief will I let go of right now? And the third question is, what feeling or belief do I need to hold on to for just a little bit longer? Because sometimes ego's job, to keep us safe, maybe we're not quite ready to venture out there. Maybe we're just too afraid. There are too many fears coming up that we haven't dealt with inside of us. That's why this work is an internal job. Remember, I talked to you yesterday about people can shove you to the ground as many times as you need, but you still have to do the work. And if you're wondering, like, what does that mean? Watch yesterday's video. Because I'm telling you that this list, getting to know what it is that you really desire in your life, is the first step to really knowing what path you want to take. Where do you want to go? How do you know there's something missing in your life if you don't even really know what it is that you want? And I promise you, nothing is missing. Nothing. Everything that we think is missing is simply ego's way of telling us, let's concentrate on the negative. Let's concentrate on what we think we don't have instead of what we really do have. So tomorrow we're going to talk about how to bring this all together. And I'm just so excited to share this with you guys. And I just feel like I'm really happy that I thought to do this on Friday and that I had these 4 days right in a row to do this. And I really hope that you guys are getting a lot out of this. This list is so powerful. And as I said on video 1, I have used this list since I discovered it, since it was taught to me in the 80s. And my list will change as I level up in my life. So it's a tool that you can take with you and you say, okay, now I've climbed to here. Now I want to climb to here. But you've got to think about, okay, well, what worked here probably isn't going to work here. So where do you want to keep going with that? This exercise is so powerful and you can use it in different areas of your life. Maybe you create it for your financial health. Maybe you create it for your health, your health goals, your financial goals, your spiritual goals, your career goals. You can use this list for each one of these segments. And this list is so powerful. So join me tomorrow for video number 4, where I wrap this all up. But think about those 3 questions that I talked to you about today, and go back over your list. And when those feelings or beliefs are coming up and telling you, ooh, no, we just can't do this, ask yourself those 3 questions, because wherever you are, it's perfectly fine. Wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. Please don't judge who you are, or where you think you are or aren't based on someone else. Because think about it. If ego is telling you, who am I? I can't do this. I can't share this. I can't teach this information. You know what? There are people everywhere who are waiting for me to share this information. It took me so long to understand that, because the people who are waiting for me will understand the way I'm explaining it. Someone else might take the exact same information and share it in a way that they understand it, and different people will need to hear it from them because that's how they understand it, right? It's like my kids, most likely, they're not going to get it from me. Why? Who thinks their parents know anything, right? Come on, your family. You try to be all the best that you can be, and your family's like, oh my God, who do you think you are? Hey, I remember you when you were just a little kid and you were doing X, Y, and Z. Friends and family are the ones that will keep us from being where we want to be, going where we want to go, doing what it is that we're here to do. So tomorrow, I'm going to talk about how to understand if you are in line with your purpose, how to figure out what your purpose is, and how to bring this all together. Okay, so if you've watched the first 3 videos, you will know that I talked about creating a list, and I call this I want list, the I want list. So it's making a list of everything that you want. And if you're wondering why or how or all the ins and outs of it, you can go back and look at the first video, and each video builds on the video before it, so it will help you. So for those of you that have been following along, we'll just, jump right into this, okay? So how's your list going? Here's what I want to know. When you wrote your list, did you learn anything about yourself? Did you look at the things that you say you want and maybe get depressed? Maybe think, oh my gosh, why don't I have this? I'll never have this. This is impossible. I don't know. What was it? Or did you feel hopeful? Did you feel like, yes, this is what I'm going to do? Did you maybe try to set goals around your I want list? Because that's what happens, right? There are people out there who are telling you, you have to set goals. You have to meet goals. You have to do something by this certain date. And goals are great. But when we're talking about the spiritual aspect of living, when we are leveling up in our life spiritually and manifesting what it is that we truly want to manifest into our life, setting goals is a little different. So today I wanted to talk to you about bringing all of these, the information in these 3 videos together, and what happens and why this is so powerful, that this tool is so powerful. So if you got to the mind mapping part, what did you learn about yourself? Did you learn about the feelings and emotions behind your I want? Did you really understand your belief behind your want list? Like, let's say that you said you want $1 million. What was your belief around that? That's never going to happen. Or, yeah, I know how I can make that happen. Or, how would I make that happen? We all have different things on our list. Different things mean something to different people. So whatever it is that's on your list, remember I said that you could use one of these lists to create something in your financial side of your life, in your health side of your life. So you can use this list in many, many ways. But getting back to the mind mapping, what did you learn about yourself when it came to the mind mapping? Because our words are so important. And this is why the mind mapping is so helpful. So as you're mind mapping and you put one of your wants there in the middle of the circle, and you take a look at that and you say, okay, what do I believe about this? Do I believe it's possible, not possible? And then pay attention to the feelings and emotions that crop up around that belief. Because our words are so, so, so important. The words we think, the words we speak, and the words we write. But when we put feeling and emotion behind those words, man, that is the message that we're sending out to the universe in a huge, huge way. That is such an energetic message, like, Pay attention to this. This is what I am asking you for. So you can see why it's so important, yes? To know about the feelings and emotions that are cropping up with you and for you and around you and in your mind about what it is that you say that you want. Now, here's another thing. Maybe you say you want something, but you're not willing to do the work to get it. You know, I've talked to people who say, well, yeah, I really would like to lose 30 pounds, but they don't want to change their eating habits. They don't want to change anything about what they do. So, of course, there's a stopping block for them. And it's not about willpower. Please don't ever let someone tell you you don't have enough willpower. In fact, just that word, get rid of it, because it's not about willpower. It's about the belief that you have around can you or can you not have what it is that you say you want. Okay? So this is why the mind mapping part of it is so important. Okay, so we're bringing all of this information. And have you ever stopped to ask yourself why you're here? This is so important. This list is so important when you're trying to figure out or working on or pondering why you're here. What is your purpose? What is it that you are meant to do in your life? Because a lot of us, we're taught that how we're supposed to show up in life is, you go to school and you go to college and you get a job and you stay there for 30 years. And some of us aren't really happy in those jobs and we're feeling discontent and we might have really awesome jobs or we might be making more money than we ever dreamed that we could make. But there's an unrest. We're not really happy or we're feeling unfulfilled. Or maybe we never got to that point or life took a turn that we weren't expecting. And so now we're frustrated that we're not doing what it is that we think we should be doing. So if you're pondering, what is your purpose? Why are you here? What is it that you're meant to do? Because that's the whole goal, yes? When you're doing what it is that you're here to do, your mission, like for me, my mission is to have motivating and inspiring conversations that empower both myself and the listener on a daily basis. And I certainly get to do that in the work that I do. In fact, that has been a thread that I've had through all my years of corporate work. I just didn't really realize it until I started doing this work and paying attention to, what was making me happy, what was making me not so happy, and where I wanted to go. So if you are thinking about, why am I here? What am I meant to do? How come I'm not happy? How could I be happier? How can I live my life my way? This is an excellent tool. This list is so powerful. I know I keep saying that, but I'm saying it because it's true, so I'm going to keep saying that to you. Okay, so here's the thing. I want to share with you a little bit about my experience when I do this list. You might recall that I said I was introduced to this list in the 80s. So I started to work on my list and I, did my 50 things that I want. And when I started reading the list, I realized that just about everything on my list had to do with money. I want more money. I want, X amount of money in my bank account. I want to be debt free. I want, but it all revolved around money. And so I started realizing wow, I have a thing about money, a belief. I didn't realize that my thoughts and everything that I choose to do was so lack-minded, meaning that I saw so much lack in my life and the opportunity for so much lack that everything I was doing was, pedaling to try to get more money, better job, better pay, maybe a different job, but as long as it had better pay, maybe it wasn't exactly the job I wanted, but better pay. So it was about the money, not about what was making me really happy. So when I really started paying attention to this list, I started realizing, oh, okay, maybe it's all about the money. Maybe that's what this list is for, to bring more money. And so as I'm concentrating on the list and I'm paying attention and I'm like, Well, okay, so what do I do now? Where do I go from here? Well, if I say I want it, then I make affirmations. I make lists. I put little notes to myself like, you are earning X amount of money. You are doing this. You are doing that. And it wasn't working. And I'm like, well, all right, let's see. Let's go back to the drawing board about this. And then I learned that when you create this list and you realize what it is that you really want in your life, you need to act as if you already have it. Okay, so my mind said, great, I want that $300 purse. I'm going to act as if I have the money in my bank account to pay for that purse. You can see where that would kind of lead to debt, right? Getting you more into debt. Like, well, this stuff doesn't work. The as if, that doesn't work. All that's doing is getting me into more trouble. I don't get this. I don't understand what's going on. How can this be going backwards? Okay, wait, maybe this doesn't work for me. Maybe, this works for a lot of people, but it doesn't work for me. All right, so the next step, give up, right? Maybe I should just give up. Maybe it wasn't meant for me. But let me just put a little thought into your head. You have to think about who your influences are in your life. If your influencers are couch potatoes and people that are happy just to, really watch TV all the time and not improve anything in their life, then chances are you're going to follow that as well. And so when you do this I want list, your influencers may be influencing you to say, it's okay, let it go. So you have to pay attention to who your influencers are. I don't know why I can't say that word, but influencers are. Okay, so one of my influencers was Jack Canfield. Oh my gosh, when I got introduced to his work on self-esteem in the 80s, he was like my guy. Not like somebody that, like celebrity, like, oh my gosh, I think he's all that and everything. It was the work. It was about the work that he was doing and the message that he kept sending that was making sense to me. And in fact, the work that Jack was doing was where I was introduced to this list. And I thought, well, okay, Jack, great, but it's not working for me. And then every time I wanted to give up, I made this little game in my head that Jack was in front of me and I'd have to tell him why I was giving up. And that scared me more than giving up. I'm like, oh, well, no way. I am not going to stand here and tell this man that I give up, that what he's telling me is not working. After everything that I've worked through in my life, no, I am not giving up. This is something that I also can do. I know it. Because right here, right, Jack was telling me step by step by step, this is what you want to do. All right, so I thought, okay, so if my understanding of as if isn't working, maybe I need to think about this in a different way. And as I started understanding my beliefs behind what it is that I said I wanted, this is what I was telling myself that I wanted, this is where I really had to have a conversation with myself. This is where I really started to see, wow, I can see that my blocks and the lack that I perceive in my life is happening because I had a belief. Now I wrote this down and so I went back and I looked through some of my earlier work from years and years ago. So I want to read this to you that that I learned. Let me see, because I want to read this to you exactly. That every single time I decided to give up, I pretended that I had to tell Jack I quit. Okay. And that's when I realized, you want to know? You want to know what I discovered about me? This is about me. This is about the truth bomb that I said you're going to hear today. Are you ready? Okay. Pay attention. I discovered that I had a huge belief that another person was the source of my financial security. Did you hear that? I had a belief that another person was the source of my financial security. Be it parents, husband, boss, whatever, whoever that person was, I had a huge belief around that. So when I started mind mapping and I started paying attention about that belief and the feelings and emotions that were attached to that belief, let me just read to you the feelings and emotions that came up. Resentment, judgment of myself and others, feeling trapped, avoidance, dependence upon another person, at the mercy of the moods and choices of another person, and always trying to prove my value to the person I believed was the source of my financial security. That one was huge for me. And I thought, well, okay, if another person is in charge of all of that, well, that's pretty disempowering, wouldn't you say? Here I am, I've done all this work on myself. I've, become a student, competitor and teacher in the martial arts, and I can do all this stuff. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why would I be giving my financial power away to another person? This was a huge discovery for me. But you know what? It was way back there in my subconscious mind. And there were steps that I had to go through to get to that. Because this is like, peeling back the layers of onions. You think, oh, this is it. Oh no, there's more underneath. Oh, this is it. Oh no, there's more underneath. And the more you're willing to peel back those layers and be really raw with yourself and say, oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know I believed that. And then I didn't know that I had that feeling and that belief about that. But that is our karmic journey, to come here and work through the feelings and emotions around our beliefs. This is why it's so important for us to master our beliefs, just like you would master anything else that you really, really want in your life. If you want to be a really great chef, you've got to master the art of cooking. If you want to be a really great doctor, you've got to master the art of the medical field and whatever field you're going into. Whatever it is that you really, really say that you want, you better be ready to master that belief around what it is that you think you can or cannot have and the emotions and the feelings that go with that. Does that make sense to you? I hope you're all nodding your head and shaking your head and saying, wow, because when I learned this was a game changer for me. Again, it's all about the list. Go back to the list. The list is so important. When I discovered that about myself, I wasn't really happy with myself. Because here I am trying to say, oh, here, I'm all that in a bag of chips and I can do this and I can do that. Yeah, no, I didn't want to admit that about myself. But it's not about, losing face or having to be humble. It's just about giving yourself the opportunity to say, hey, if I really want to work through this, if I really want this as much as I say I do, I am willing to do whatever it takes. Because I can promise you, when the pain of where I was more than the fear of me moving forward to what I wanted, I was ready to let go of that. That pain, I was ready to set it down, let it go, put it by the curb, let the trash man take it. I don't want that anymore. I want that out of my life. So I kept going back to the list. What is it that you say you want, Nancy? What is it that you think you can't have, Nancy? What is the belief around this? And paying attention to the feelings and emotions that kept cropping up for me. Because you know what? Those feelings and emotions, they kept showing up in my life. So when you absolutely believe that someone else is your source of financial security, you don't act the way you really, really want to act in your life, right? You're doing things to make that other person happy, to keep that other person happy, so that you can have that financial stability that you think that person is giving to you. That was huge for me. Well, I got to tell you something, if it was the boss, yeah, he had his own agenda. He did his thing. He went and did his, choices, and I had to bounce off of that. The husband, yeah, we don't expect divorce. We don't expect sickness. We don't expect incapacitation. And now what? We're faced with that biggest fear that we had. And here's the thing, when we're thrown into it, we will find a way to work through it. But why wait until you're thrown into it? Why not pay attention to what it is that you really want right now and go through this list and then pay attention to your beliefs and the feelings and emotions behind your beliefs. Are you guys excited? Does this make you as excited as it does me? Because I'm telling you, man, this was such a game changer for me. And I just love sharing this. And I love how my clients get a lot out of it, because when they start working on their list, and let me tell you, there are some clients that just fight the list. Nah, not interested. Nah, I don't need that. And I'll tell you why. Because when they get to a certain point, there are things that they don't want to look at. There are things that they're not ready to see about themselves. And that's okay, because every one of us is where we are for a specific reason. Remember that. Never, never, never judge yourself based on where someone else is or where you perceive that they are. Because everybody's going through something. Everyone. We just don't all put it out there and say, oh my gosh, I'm struggling. Oh my gosh, this is helping. But if anything that I have gone through can help someone, then I'm there. You know, I love thinking that I am that person that I really, really needed when I was struggling or when I felt at my most rock bottom. This list can help you. And I'm really, really excited to share it with you. All right. So are you beginning to see the value of the list? Is it making sense? Okay. So now I want you to think about it. Whether or not you take all of this information from all 4 videos and do anything with it is totally up to you. Yep. Life is all about choices. You know I'm fond of saying that, right? But if you really want to party like purple in your life, don't you think that you deserve to give yourself the opportunity to create this list? And then make the list and don't put it in a drawer. Don't put it away where you're not going to think about it. Get it out. Take a look at it. What is it that you want? Because you're going to find that it's not the material things that you think are going to make you happy that will really make you happy. It's from in here. It's what those material things represent for you. And when you take a look at your list and you understand the belief and the feelings and emotions behind the belief, and then you learn to master those beliefs and you realize that there is nothing that you cannot do, be, or have in this world, it is a freaking game changer, let me tell you. So I hope these 4 videos have really just put you on the moon and you're really feeling excited and yes, I'm going to go create my list. And I really want this for you. And again, this is not about trying to sell you something. This is not about trying to talk you into something. This is my gift to you. Because, in watching people on Facebook, and I could see some of the people, just their posts, and people are up, people are down. And I thought, I have this information. I can share this. I can give you this gift, because I promise if you're willing to work on you and your beliefs and the feelings and emotions behind your beliefs, it will be a game changer for you. It will enable you to live your life your way. But the choice is yours. Remember, life is all about choices. In the meantime, this is Nancy Muller saying ciao for now.